Hey guys, welcome to this lecture where we're going to apply a custom texture to a model. So let's get into this. We're going to pick right up where we left off in the last lecture. We're going to go ahead and try to export this UV map to the hard drive. So I'm going to get out of that render. We know our UV map's good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move this over a little bit so we're kind of in the center of this. Scale it in a little bit again so we can avoid these edges. And then what I do is I come in here and I select all the UVs by using A. Get them all selected, go to UVs, export UV layout under that UVs menu, and then it's going to ask me where I want to save an image of the UVs. Alright, so I've got to the directory here. I'm going to go ahead and save this as UV map with a PNG extension. Go ahead and set this to 1024 by 1024 for the map, and go ahead and save this. So if I pull over that directory now, you can see that if I preview this, it's just basically our UV maps laid out on a template for us. In this image, and so I'm going to bring this into Photoshop now, and we're going to start painting this up. Alright, so we've got that as a base layer. I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer on top of this and lock this into place. That way I don't modify it accidentally. I've opened this metal containers image that I got off CG Textures, and again, these are all free. You can get on there, create an account, and you have a certain amount of textures you can get in a 24-hour period. I can't provide these to you because I don't have the rights, but definitely get on there and check these out for any of your texturing needs and consider getting a membership. So what I'm basically going to do is take some of these as a good starting point, bring them over, and we're going to build kind of a crate object for our cube. Okay, so there we have it, basic layout. Again, take more time and come in here and mess with these. Now, one thing we need to take into consideration is the rotation of how this is looking. We know that this is the top of our cube, so if this is going to be facing one direction, this is going to come down straight, which is right. These need to be turned so that these bars are going vertically. So if I have this here, I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees. So the writing is left to right. And then over here, it needs to be rotated 90 degrees the other direction. So the writing is left to right here as it comes down. This is upside down. So let's rotate this 180 degrees because it's the back. And then that is also upside down. So let's rotate that 180 degrees. And that'll be on the bottom. So that is a basic layout for the color map. And so at this point, we're going to call this done. We'll save this as a JPEG in that same menu. We'll call this cube color and write that to the hard drive. If I come back over here and load a new image, we'll open the color map I just made, go to our cube color, import that, and it's already set to be UV mapped, all the settings we had before. So if we just render this now you're going to get a custom texture map based on our UV map. And as you can see, it comes in, and we still have some work to do. You know, you'd have to come in here, you have to do some bump mapping, you'd have to do some reflectivity, some specular mapping to kind of get more of that the reflections and things like that we want in this. But you know, this combined really quickly with just some basic settings over here, you're going to be able to get some nice effects in in a pretty short amount of time after you get your UV mapping finished. So if we turn the reflectivity up a little bit, see some of that. This is going to be more of an orangish reflection. Depth, of course, it should be turned up. Turn your gloss down. And again, you know, with different kinds of maps, you can create different kinds of effects. So it's probably a little too subtle. Let's pull up the reflectivity just so you can see what can happen. So again, what you'd want to do is create a custom map with that UV layout that takes into account the parts that have dirt on them so they don't reflect. The parts that are reflective, like these bars, might be a little more reflective. You'd want to paint those in as a different color so that when you import that, you can come over to your texture settings, down to the specularity or the reflectivity over under mirror, and all the parts that are white would be reflective in your map, and all the parts that are black would not be affected by this mirror value. So again, come down here into normal, set this to like 0.3. Very quickly, you got a nice little bump going on there. And again, you can do a custom bump map. So if you come in here, you'd want to do bump for these bars coming out, unless you modeled them to be on this box separate. You'd want to do small bumps for these signs maybe, and the text probably wouldn't have any on it because it's painted on the side of the crate. So just be aware, you know, these cracks are going to have bumps, but the rest of this stuff, it depends on what it is. If it's actually geometry, then you'd want to give it a little bit of bump. And so that's pretty quickly how you can come in here and start generating your own custom maps for your textures and for your materials. And in the final lecture, I'm going to go over demonstrating how to texture our fire hydrants for the scene that we're going to be doing in the render section. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'll see you in the next section.